Again, if I didn't get to visit with this morning, my name is Joe Austin. I'm the head coach at Southwestern University in Texas. I've downloaded my video, so there'll be no problems. We're going to be able to see everything that I want to see. I'm going to have to talk about RPO, run pass option passes, and I'm also going to tie that into what we do with play action. We used to do RPOs a few years ago when we weren't very good, because I thought it gave us a chance to be right and actually to give us good play action. Now our play action is really good, so we don't do run pass options anymore. We can get, as you saw in the morning, we can get linebackers to run up anytime we want them to run up. But I'll show you what we did with RPOs to give you some ideas. I'll show you video, and I'll show you diagrams, and then I'll show you more of what we do with our play action passing game. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to show you a diagram, and I'll show you some video of it. As you know, power is our base run play. We've been doing a lot of power for a while. When we did RPOs with two back, we used to have an H-back in our offense. Now we don't have that type of personnel. But we'd run power with our H-back, and then every now and then we tag a pass with it, and we isolate the outside linebacker. So if you're designing an RPO, you have to put a linebacker in conflict, which means he has a run responsibility and a pass responsibility at the same time. And then your quarterback has to decide which of the two he's vacating. So this linebacker has a run fit somewhere. If you know he does, you can use him as a run pass option. If he fills on the run, then he's vacating the curl. He's a curl flat type dropper usually. And if he drops back, then they're going to be missing something in the run game. So here's a video clip of this. This is from our very first year. So this would be the defender that we're going to isolate, and then go back to the passes that we use. An easy way to combat run pass options is to take your guys out of conflict. So if you want him to be a run defender, roll this guy down and cover him, either in cover 3 or in man, and now there's no conflict. So to take that away, when I do RPOs, I like this combination best, because if you want to roll down on him and play cover 3, then we have a vertical seam behind him. The other thing you have to do, I left this blank, is if teams are going to roll down and play man, you have to have something man-to-man built in on the backside. If teams are going to defend RPOs with zone, they're going to man somebody. So in that case, they're going to man the guy on the boundary, and you could tag routes. A lot of teams will just tag a quick out or a quick hitch.
You do that based off of leverage?
On the backside?
Yeah.
We would do that based on game plan. Is what we would tag. So if they were a press man team, they're forcing you to run a slant or a deeper out. If they're going to play off, you can run a quick out. You can run a quick hitch, depending on what they're going to do.
It's like usually set up like 2 routes that you want to choose off of.
For us, it would just be one. Our base was a quick out. Again, this wasn't a huge part of our offense. When we weren't very good and our play action wasn't great yet, we would tag some of this to make play action out of it. This would try to force us to be able to throw the ball with play action. We would tell our guys play action. We wanted to be aggressive, and they wouldn't block the same way. Now our guys will run block no matter what. Before they wouldn't make it look like run.
Were you a pistol team before?
Yes, we were a pistol team when we were doing this.
When you were not good at play action?
We weren't always a pistol team, but we did run this set, which I'll show you on film. So that's why I like this combination of an in route and a vertical, is it controls the safety. If they want to try to roll down over the top, to take that away. So here's a guy that's in conflict. We're running power. He stays back, we're going to get him. So again, pretty simple read. The one drawback is this doesn't rewind real fast. We can see it from the tight film. Our quarterback's going to get his eyes right out here right away. The running back is responsible for the mesh. Their footwork has to match up, but the quarterback's never going to look at the running back ever. And you can see he stared out here a little long. He's kind of giving away where he's going to look. His eyes went right away to where he's going to look for the run pass option. He defended pass. He dropped to his curl, so we know he's going to hand it off. Okay, so we do the same thing. Now the defender that we're going to isolate is right here. He's going to fill on the run, at least enough that the curl is going to be vacated. The problem with downloading the film, as I said, is it doesn't rewind all that fast. So the outside linebackers who we're isolating, okay, same scheme again. We're going to isolate this outside linebacker, and you can see the safety starting to work down. That's why I have a vertical to take that away. He's not going to roll. They're going to stay in cover 4. We're reading him. He fills. And there's enough room for the vertical. His first look's not the vertical, but there they left a lot of room for it. So 33 was the guy we were reading. So you've got the outside in route and then the vertical to the top.
You always attach the route side to the front side, and then if you get an insert safety on the weak side, then just run the concept to the other side, or would you attach the combo to the other side if you get front side cover 4, like backside insert?
You can do it either way.
Okay.
The way we would do it is we would set it to whatever combination we had. Now I will show you some single receiver side RPOs. So is that what you're asking? We don't always have to run it to a 2 or 3 man.
Mm-hmm.
We will run it to a single receiver side, and you could isolate this player.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get to that. So here's our conflict. He's got a run responsibility. He's got a pass responsibility. And again, we want to have the seams available to us. So in this linebacker, he kind of hesitates and shows like he's going to play run first. And then when he recovers, he works flat. That leaves the seam route open. You can see how difficult this can be for a quarterback. What is he doing? Is it a give? Which route do I throw to? So there's an awful lot that goes into it if you're going to ask your quarterback to execute plays like this. That's about as complex a decision as he could have. I've decided it's going to be a pass, and now I have to go to my second choice off the pass. My first choice is the in. Usually he's going to fill and give us the in route. Here he fills a little bit, then he drops out. So now I have to go to the vertical. On the backside, he's probably going to run a quick out. Or a quick in, okay. We always have something on the backside in case they man up the front. You can do this with 3 receivers in a variety of different ways. You still have to find your linebacker that's going to be in conflict. He now is out of the box. He's not going to have a gap in the run fit. So this is probably a 4-man front. I didn't put anything specific in. But this linebacker that's splitting the tackle and the slot has an A, B, or C gap responsibility somewhere in the run. So that's someone that you can potentially put into conflict. So here, he's out. He's a pass player now. He's a nickel defender. But this linebacker both has a pass drop responsibility and a run fit responsibility. This linebacker does not have a run fit responsibility as far as an A gap, B gap, C gap. So the quarterback reads it. He determines that the outside backer is filled. But again, his decisions aren't over, which is why RPOs can be pretty difficult. He has to go back now and work to his second read. So we'd like to throw to the inside route. But when he hangs on it, he has to now see the corner and know vertical to flat where to go with the ball. Which is why we've gotten away from this and we've gotten into just having our linemen be a lot better at play action. So 43 is who we're reading. He fills his run gap, so we know that we can throw the ball. Now you've got to decide where we're going to throw to. Okay, same type of play. He doesn't have a run gap, this defender. He does. He's a player that we're going to isolate. He drops, so now it's going to be a handoff. This linebacker does not have a run fit, but he does. So we're going to isolate him. He fills. We're going to give the ball. that route should be a little bit deeper. We like it to be about 5. And the route depth is based on the timing of when the ball is going to be thrown. So here's your conflict linebacker just off the tight film. He comes in now. Now he can't cover the zone. Most people will run this route versus the vertical and the in route. The problem with this, as I said though, is if they take this and play it in man, then you have more difficulty. So I don't have any clips of this. But this is a common route combo that people run. And we did run this out of 3x1. We ran the 2 out routes. But I think you're potentially a man short. You can do it with your tight end. You can use your tight end just like we use our slot. You can send them on a quick little pop. You could turn them on an out route or a stick route. And you could fit this with a zone scheme. So for example, I drew a zone play. You can block the end and read the linebacker. And if the linebacker fills, whether this is an inside zone or an outside zone, a middle zone, if he takes a run gap, then you can look to throw it to that linebacker.
Would you attach different combos to the inside zone and to the outside zone?
You wouldn't necessarily have to. This could be a stretch zone, or it could be an inside zone, and you can still read that same defender with the same pass combos.
Okay.
So this may be the vertical and out route combo. Yeah, it is. He doesn't run an out route, he just kind of settles, but we're going to be putting him in conflict. Then we have an out route and a vertical. And when he hangs, we're going to give the ball on the run. As you can see, another drawback is the quarterback gets a run key. Right now, he's decided that he hasn't filled hard enough to pull it. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. But we're not blocking him, so we only get 3 yards. He still makes a tackle. Also, a limiting thing to me, if you slow down how fast you trigger those linebackers, you can trigger gives, and then you can be unblocked. So the quarterback, again, is getting his eyes right on the outside linebacker. He has to make a decision by the time the ball gets to his front foot on what he's going to do. Whether he's going to give it or keep it. All right, we went to the boundary this time. And that time, linebacker didn't do much of anything. Here's the linebacker that we're reading. He stayed inside and left the out route, so we threw that out route. The bubble screen is the safest thing to do with this because you don't have to worry about a legal man downfield. Another drawback is RPOs in a lot of ways, people use them to cheat. You're sending guys downfield. Now when we did it, we got the ball out before they would get downfield. But a lot of teams, they'll just inside release, veer on zone block, and zone block a linebacker 4 yards downfield, and then throw. It's cheating, and they know they're doing it. But if you tag it with a bubble, you can have guys as far downfield as you want if you do it with a bubble screen. Here's a bubble screen out of spread. A lot of teams will use this as their triple option. Instead, we run a true pitch triple option, where he would get in a pitch relationship, or we'd bring a guy to be in pitch relationship. But you could have your dive key, and then your pitch key or your bubble key can be here. We've never run it like that because it fits our strengths of our players better. If we get a dive key, we want to hit the alley with our quarterback and make them take it away and pitch it. But a lot of teams that want to run some triple with maybe a quarterback that's not going to be a great alley runner, they'll read the dive, and then they'll get out here, and then they'll throw it, or he'll keep it. So here's some bubbles. We're on a spread. We're reading this top linebacker, and if he fills, we're going to throw the bubble to the boundary. I showed this in the morning without a run pass option. We've gotten good enough with their play action where we can get this linebacker to fill anytime we want, that we don't have to RPO it. We're going to go to the top now. We're reading that linebacker. The linebacker holds so we can get the bubble thrown. And then here's going to be one. There are some coming up where we're going to get a give key. So we're probably reading this linebacker. He holds, so we throw the bubble. So now we're going to read this linebacker at the bottom, and he's going to expand, so we're going to give the ball. And what we're running, you can run any 5, you have 5 to block 5 in this case. It's a 4-1 box. We're going to block down and trap the end. You could fold, you could do any way you want to block 5-on-5, you could do. So there goes the linebacker. He chases the bubble, so now we're going to give it. Here's a tie to this. Here's a linebacker that our quarterback's going to read, and then we're going to down block and we're going to trap the end. So it's kind of a bastardized power play. We're going to run bubble. We're going to read that defender. He fills, we're going to pull it and throw it. There's going to be a bubble out of quads. We're going to read this linebacker. When he expands to the bubble, now we're going to run a QB ISO. So we're blocking the ISO with the bubble. If he follows the bubble, the quarterback will run the draw. If he were to fill, we would throw it. This is the original RPO that I did a long time ago before it was called RPO. We did a lot of bubble screens. And when teams would overreact to our bubble, we would just block it with an ISO and let our quarterback just take it as an ISO before it was called an RPO. We can do it to the backside. We used to run some counter tray when we had an H-back, so you can read the linebacker with the same way. We would put a slant on top of him. So here's a look at this. We're going to go to the top. The inside linebacker at the top is in conflict with the curl and the B gap. So if he fills the B or C, depending on what they're doing with the end, then there's access for the slant behind it. Here's a tight film of that. Here's a linebacker that we're going to read. He's a B, C gap player, depending on what the end does. And he also is the weak side curl player. So if he fills, no one's in the curl. Another look at the same thing. There's your conflict. So those are the RPOs that we've done. My favorite way when we did it was with the vertical and the in route. The safest way to do it is probably with a bubble, and then RPO is a way that a lot of people get to triple option. What we've done now, our offensive line has progressed. We're averaging 290 yards a game rushing. People have to respect our runs. So we make everything look the same. Power is our base run play, so we block power. We stay on level 1 and we pull our guard. Instead of having him wrap to level 2, he now is a C-gap defender. So we're gap secure. We are a gap down on the backside, but by pulling, we're eliminating a gap. So we have all the gaps really picked up. If it was a 6-man blitz, then the quarterback would have to know what to do. Well, what would he do? One, he could keep his back in. He could change a type of fake to a dive fake where he could peel. He could slide his line that direction, and he could check to a true pass protection, where he would know he's going to get the ball out quick. We don't get blitzed though, because we have speed option and we have triple option. We get blitzed very rarely. We also jump formations to keep guys in base. We really don't worry about blitz much anymore, do we, Coach? We have very few times we get blitzed. So I'm going to show you some of the things we do. I talked a little bit this morning about what we do with our inside verticals, your traditional 4 vertical scheme. Rather than RPOing any of this, we're just going to eliminate all these guys by running really good play action. So we're going to play action on this. We're going to fake power sweep to the right. We're going to pull the guard to the right, and everything's going to look like run, and all these defenders are going to fill. Everyone has stepped up. The only one that has it is their nickel, their 4-2-5 nickel, who's not in conflict. But all 3 of their linebackers are running to the line of scrimmage. that leaves a lot of room and seam routes open, a lot of curls, a lot of voids. Our last game of the year, we completed 10 passes for 302 yards. We averaged 30 yards of completion in our last game. And there'll be some clips from that. So now we're at 2x2. We're going to do this. We're going to fake the same thing. We're going to fake power sweep to the right. We're going to pull our guard to the right. All the linebackers are going to be eliminated. The ones that have gap threats. So here comes the linebacker that a lot of teams would RPO it. It's not an RPO. We know he's going to go. We don't have to wait and see what he does. Watch this. Okay, so there isn't any tight. If I had tight, I'd show you that this linebacker is going to fill, and this linebacker is going to scrape. And the toughest thing the quarterback has to do is decide, do I throw the seam in the first window or the second window? So when this backer starts to scrape, he knows it's going to be second window behind that linebacker. And that's not difficult because everyone that we play scrapes their linebackers with our guard pull. I guess there is tight. So both these backers are going to fill. He's going to fill, he's going to scrape. And the QB just has to decide, am I going to throw it now in the first window? Or am I going to let this guy scrape across the top and throw it in the second window? Same play, different part of the game. We're going to block power. Linebackers are all going to fill. And we're going to throw our play action seam right behind. Here's the tight. Guard's going to pull to the right. They're run blocking. He fills, he scrapes. Again, toughest thing for the quarterback is, do I want this window? Do I want to let him scrape? And do I want to hit second window? We're going to fake power this direction. Linebackers are all going to respect that. They fill. There's your seam. Same thing, we're going to fake power now to the wide side. We're going to pull the guard to the wide side. These linebackers are all going to fill. And there's our seam. So it's not an RPO. As Coach Ross talked about last night, we're talking about our clinic talks. A lot of people probably think that we do this as a run-pass option because we're run blocking. We're not going downfield, but it's called play action. Our quarterback doesn't have to decide whether to throw it or give it. He knows right what he's going to do. Now we're going to do it out of empty. We're going to run verticals again. So we're going to go smash on the backside to hold these guys. We're going to run our inside vertical combo. But the quarterback's going to fake a QB ISO, fold or a sweep to hold everybody. So as he steps up, so are these guys. So I think there'll be tight film of this also. So you can see, not a lot of guys are in the shot, but he's not pass dropping. The best thing that people do is if you coach defense, don't do this. Don't have your linebackers read run, then decide it's not. If teams would just blitz us when they read run, it'd be harder for us to throw play action. We got people doing this all game. Oh crap. And now they're not doing anything. If they would just send them and go, we'd have to get the ball up a lot faster. But watch what 39 does. He reads run, and then when he decides it's a pass, he tries to drop back out. He's not going to get anywhere. Here's play action off of wheel route off of fly motion. It's been a really good play for us. Again, teams may think it's a run pass option. I don't know. We'll run post or streak routes, seam routes to clear out the defenders. And then as people overplay the fly stretch, you can sneak your running back out on the wheel route. So we're going to run this to the left in this case. The running back's going to run the wheel. These guys are going to run posts and take out the two vertical players. This linebacker and one of the safeties will probably fill. He has to cover the curl, right? He's running up. There's nobody in the curl. If he just ran through it, that play probably could have been a touchdown. So he's going to release on the wheel route. See all the linebackers working flat. Safeties are filling. No one's covering any pass zones. Here's another example. Running back out of the backfield on the wheel. These two receivers are going to clear. He has to carry the wheel route. And they're going to get pressure, but the guy giving us pressure is the guy that's supposed to cover the wheel route. Instead of a wheel, here's some looks at some vertical seams off of the fly stretch game. The play's been really consistent for us. It puts a lot of guys in conflict, more than just a linebacker. It puts a safety in conflict. A lot of teams are going to defend fly stretch by forcing with their outside linebacker and replacing with their safety. That leaves a lot of holes in deep coverage behind it. So we're going to go fly to the left. Here's our fly stretch man. He's going to work to the opposite hash mark, and then this running back is going to work to the near hash mark. All these backers are going to fill, and they're going to be left with one safety that we can isolate. So the quarterback doesn't have to decide, is it a run, is it a pass, what do I do? They're already rotating the fly motion. He's going to fill. And when this safety hesitates and takes the climb route across the opposite hash, we're going to throw the running back up the seam. Same thing we'll do to the boundary. We'll send our running back up this seam, our receiver down this seam, and this safety gets caught and not knowing who to cover. Is it a run? Is it a pass? And the better throw may have been to our running back. We throw it to the outside receiver. As you watch this develop, look at the running backs. They're the linebackers. They're out of there. Another look, I showed this play already to guys that were in the clinic this morning. Running back up the seam, linebacker selling that he's going to crack block and then he'll continue vertical. So we're 4 verticals with fly motion. All these linebackers have filled. The safety's rotated to the weak side. So we're 4 on 3 vertically downfield.
Coach?
Yes?
What idea is behind your split on the backside guard that's pulling to the center? Because that always seems to be very large.
Our split with the guard that's pulling?
Yeah.
Our base splits are 2, but we'll widen them out where we can.
So I mean, that leaves the center and the tackle pretty much on it, especially the tackle that and wants to come in.
Yeah, he's man to man. That tackle's man. He's not going to hinge. He's going to block him man to man. And then the nose, the center is back blocking on anything. Whether it's a 3 technique, a 1 technique, a 0, he's back blocking every time.
Okay, so what's the idea behind the far split there?
I think this looks bigger than it is because he's set off the line of scrimmage.
And you're not hinging on the backside of a power play? What's the idea behind that? You're not afraid to get that inside penetration?
No. No, the center's going to back block. If we have something off the edge, we'll make a call, and it's quarterback's job to take care of it at that point. It's a 5-man protection. So if he was worried about 2 guys off the backside, the quarterback has to take care of that. And in that case, he's still man on because he's going to take the end if the end goes inside. So tackle's man on this end. We'll let this run to the tight view also. And Coach Ross, you want to chime in on anything, go ahead.
Sure.
So as you can see, that this is our base 2-foot splits. He may be a little bit wider. The thing that's not right we're not getting good play action from our left guard. We don't want our left guard to stop and hang on this guy. We want them all firing off the ball and down blocking fast and aggressive. Just like we would on the run play. We don't hang and wait for guys. We create stretch in our power game laterally, more so than vertically. So this was a little bit of a mistake. This ends up being 5 verticals, which I'll show you later instead of 4. He was supposed to fake the power, and then our wing's going to come across the field, and then he would be up the seam. He'll end up going down to this seam also. And 5 verticals is a play that we run. As I said, I'll show that to you in a few clips. But all the backers are eliminated. The safeties, it's really tough on cover 4 safeties. They don't know whether they're taking their run responsibilities, their pass responsibilities. So you can see all the linebackers would be eliminated. We're really keying this safety. Which one does he take? He takes the running back, so the slot back's wide open. I mentioned this morning that we cross block our receivers. So we run play action off the cross blocks. So when we release this, it's the same 4 vertical play. We can do it with any of our backfield actions. We can do it with fly motion, but we'll switch these guys in our pass plays just like we will on our run. Because remember, we want to look just like the run play. So these 2 receivers are gonna switch landmarks. He's gonna work across, and he's gonna work outside, and we're just isolating the single high safety. We're in empty, we're gonna come in fly motion. And all 5, 6 of these guys are all covering the fly motion.
Coach,
Yes.
what would you say is the biggest struggle with this kind of plays you can have as a team?
Offensively or defensively?
On both sides, please.
The biggest struggle offensively is getting linemen to block play action.
Okay.
We're not calling a run play. Like I said, we used to call a run play to make us get good play action. They know it's a run play. You have to train them that they block the same way no matter what. For us, it's pretty easy. We ran about 8 drop back passes the whole season. We practice it so our defense can run pass rush drills. It's convincing them to buy into run blocking on play action passes. Would you agree with that, Coach? Mm-hmm. From a defensive perspective, I think the toughest thing is your keys are all screwed up. When the guard pulls on a run and a pass for us, if you're keying tackles, the tackles run block on a run and a pass the same way. That's what we're trying to do anyway, because we're trying to create a lot of distress in what players are seeing with their keys. So from the tight, again, we're going to be regressive run blocking, see if we get good play action. Again, the guard should get going. We don't want him to hang on these guys. But all these linebackers are sitting at the line of scrimmage. That's a safety, sitting at the line of scrimmage. Okay, now we're not going to do it with fly motion. Now we're just going to do it with our power sweep, our power read look. We're going to switch these 2 receivers. So he's going to release to this hash. He's going to come across. Now our quarterback actually gets this receiver hurt, and I'll show you why he gets him hurt when we go to the tight film. It was poor mechanics by our quarterback. The right read, but mechanically didn't do the right thing. So we're isolating the safety. The safety takes this hash. Now we're going to go over to across the field. And he threw it way too late and way too soft. And I'll talk about quarterback fundamentals tomorrow. But what our quarterback didn't do here is off of his fly stretch fake. He's going to throw the ball here with his shoulders pointed there. And so it's going to come out a little bit soft. Can you see that? His shoulders are pointed this way. His shoulders should be pointed where he's going to throw. And so that makes the pass come out a little bit soft, and that lets that backside corner get in on the play. Okay, here's 5 verticals. Everybody knows 4. Here's 5. We run 5 verticals because we see a lot of cover 4, and there's somebody that no one can cover. It is empty play action, so we use our quarterback, and we run it just how it's drawn. We decide where we want the quarterback to shade to. So if the quarterback's going to shade to his left, he's going to step with his backside foot first so he can take 2 steps down and plant, just like we do in our ISO. So if we're in quarterback ISO to my right, we're going to shade away to the A-gap for 2 steps. What does that do? It pulls linebackers over. It gives guard keys on ISOs to look this way. And then he's going to plant and come back this way. Only now on his second step here, he's going to pull up and get set. So it's 4 steps for play action on 5 vertical passes. So again, 4 deep, whether it's cover 2, whether it's cover 4. If it's cover 3, then you got 2 guys that are open, because he's held. So we like to run 5 verticals against any coverage. So here they're in cover 3. The quarterback has to just choose which one of these 2 is going to be open. The middle safety is going to take him. He's going to run right down the middle of the field. The outside 2 verticals are 2 yards outside the hash, and then the outside 2 are on the bottom of the numbers. So we've bisected the field into fifths. So there's the quarterback's play action. He actually is a little quick on this one, but he's going to run downhill. The linemen are firing out, and he did a good job. If he would have pulled back like this linebacker did, we'd have all day to throw. So the only chance to defeat our play action is if your linebackers finish their gaps. So we know somebody's going to be open.
Do you get more pressures when you go empty?
If we're going to get pressure, we won't go traditional empty. But this is a running formation for us. This is an 1,100-yard rusher. This is 3 running backs. If teams blitzed us, we would be happy to have them blitz us in this formation. Now, if we went 3x2 open and teams are going to blitz us, we just won't even do it. We don't need to, unless we wanted to run power stretch against the blitz. So we'll only go a true spread empty when we don't think teams are going to blitz us. Or we'll motion or jump to it, where you know you're not going to get blitzed. So here's 5 verticals against 3 defenders.
Coach?
Yes.
You're always bottom for the numbers, right? With your wideouts, you're not giving anything away with the splits here.
No. Don't give the defense too much credit. Here's another one. This is from our last game. They said we had 10 completions for 302 yards. They're actually in cover 5. They had 5 defenders across, but they're going to get runs. They're going to get run looks. So this middle safety, who is a really good free safety, he's going to fill, and it's going to leave our running back right down the middle of the field wide open. So they're lined up, playing man coverage on all 5 of them, and you see number 7 hesitates. This is better, I'd say more polished run action by our quarterback. It's later in the year. So he's selling the ISO, a good 4-step drop, because it times up better. I also said this morning, I'll talk a lot about it tomorrow. The worst thing your quarterback can do is be standing like this and not throwing the ball. So however deep your play is, set your drop that long. With 3, 5, 7, however it is. Don't have him standing here being a target and being nervous. It's just tough. It's so much more comfortable for a quarterback to hit his drop and throw in rhythm no matter what it may be. So for our guy on this play, it's, and the ball's gone. 2 down, 2 over, and get it thrown. Rather than taking 2 and stand there and wonder where to go. So from the tight, you'll be able to see what we're doing with our play action run blocking. This week we decided to make to full block. So we're pulling the guard. You can block any way you want to block 5 on 5. So we're aggressively getting off the line. We're run blocking everyone. Here's another 5 vertical. They're in cover 3 again. So one of these 2 guys is going to be open. That time he went to the boundary. So how does the quarterback decide which of the two slots he's going to go to? Anybody?
That was on linebacker Philly.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. As he's taking his drop, he knows that the safety is going to stay in the middle with 26 coming vertical. He's 3 steps this way off the middle of the field. He's going to go over here. We don't make it any more difficult than that. Whichever way he shades, throw it the opposite. Here's another 5 vertical. They only have 4 to defend now. We have a tight end. So they have vertical defenders for these 3, and then they have 1 safety for a tight end and a wing. So the quarterback just has to see which one he takes. In this case, he takes the tight end. That leaves the wing. Watch it behind for the play action. We're going to pull the guard again. He takes the tight end, the safety does. And now they're left with a linebacker trying to react late on our running back vertical. Here, I just asked about empty. When we go empty a lot, it actually led me right into this point. We'll motion to empty because it'll keep teams in their base defense. And then we'll have some sort of 5-man concept against 4 deep defenders. So we're going to motion to empty knowing they stay in cover 4. And now they have 1 safety, the same as we just looked at, for 2 seam routes. So we want to get 2-on-1 situations whenever we can. So we're motioning to empty. They're still actually in cover 5. They should have it covered. But the play action takes number 7 out of it. So same play action for us, same action by the quarterback. And now when the safety gets flat-footed, turns into an 80-yard touchdown. So this is about as long as I want my quarterback to stand there. We want to throw everything on a lot of rhythm. And the reason he had to hold a little bit longer is they were in kind of a funky coverage. They were in cover 5. And it took a while to see that the safety was following him to be able to get the ball out. And it wasn't a great ball. It was a good job by the receiver to adjust. We call this play Moses because it parts like the Red Sea. Against cover 4, you double smash, and then an H-back or a running back vertically. You're counting on a linebacker to carry it vertical. So we've done this out of a variety of formations over the years. Here's out of 2-back. We're going to sell ISO. They're in cover 4. So now we're going to sneak this back vertical down the middle. Hard play action again. We're run blocking. We're not pass blocking. So it should look just like a run play. I'll let it run from the tight. We're blocking ISO. So it's a 2-back ISO, but instead of him blocking 42, he's just going to slide past him. So we're man here, man. There's our zone side on the back. Here's an H-back version. The H-back now will slide through. The motion was just window dressing. We knew we were going to throw this. We wanted to shift him to be a little bit of eye distraction. And then when that backer fills, there's no one vertical. So we're running an ISO. In fact, we will check this play to the open B gap because that's where we like to run our ISO to. So we'll run it all the exact same way. So we're man, everyone else is zone blocking basically on the backside. We'll double. And then instead of ISOing him, he'll just slide past it. Here's another one. Instead of ISOing here, it'll slide past him. We don't want this to be a lofted throw. We want to have just enough air to get over the linebackers. All 4 of these are from the same game, so if they don't stop it, run it again. How long is that?
You got 1 more minute after find out.
Yeah, we're about done.
One more, coach, one more.
Tight end corner outs are really good too. We can make it look like he's going to block and then release one-on-one to the corner. So I'll show you a couple of those. So we'll get heavy play action, and then we'll send our tight end on a corner basically on the one-man route. Here he's up top, one-on-one with the safety. He's a cover 4 safety, so he's a little. Actually, the safety lets him go, and the corner tries to take him. I'm gonna skip that one. I will show you this. We talked about switch blocking again, so we'll run routes throughout the switch blocks. Now, off of these, this is not based on landmarks. This is based on getting defenders to fill, and then when they fill, go vertical over top of them. So we're going to show a switch block, and they may run off the film, unfortunately. But they're going to attack their switch blocks, and when this corner fills, our outside slot's going to go vertical. So they're switch blocking, and then see 84 is just going to slip him. Instead of blocking him, he's just going to slip him vertical. And then our play, this is, watch the backfield. This is pretty tough play action. If that doesn't look like a run, I don't know what does. Okay, so that's what we do with our RPOs and play actions. If you have any more questions, just let me know. Thanks.